I just watched the Alex Earl podcast with Brianna Chickenfry, so you don't have to.
And I just finished the BFFs podcast where Brianna Chickenfry gives her friendship breakup tell-all with Grace O'Malley, and I want to break it down today. First, I want to talk about how all the Swifties are especially peeved off because she's making that her whole personality now after spending years absolutely dragging them through the mud. To the point where she's even getting sponsored by large companies to go to the Eras tour. And the reason I'm not shocked or fazed by this at all is because she's a very opportunistic ladder climber. She noticed that the Swiftie community was one that could really rally behind her in that time, so she is chasing those coattails now, clearly trying to get Taylor Swift and that girl group's attention. The thing that especially pissed me off about it is that during all of this, one of the reasons she gave for why she was coming out with her story and being a Swiftie and all this is because there was a lot of fear from women given the results of what happened here in November. And that set me off personally as someone who busted my butt on the ground level because I didn't hear a peep from her. The moment she figured out that she could profit off of that fear in that group of people, suddenly she said something. All right, but now diving into the friendship controversy with her and Grace O'Malley, between her talking about her toxic, horrible ex Zach Bryan's behavior, and the way she speaks about and treats Grace O'Malley. She was on this podcast, she talked about how, he would do that thing that narcissists do, where they would do little things for you and then hold them over you for forever. And a lot of the time she spent on BFFs talking about Grace O'Malley, she talked about how she did everything for this girl. She gave her a place to live, she gave her a job, all the things she did that she's now holding over her forever. Talked about how it's so easy for them to be there for you when you're down bad and not when you're doing well. And yet this friendship breakup comes at a time when Grace O'Malley's career is actually starting to really skyrocket. And maybe most importantly, she talks about how, yes, these types of people will try and isolate you and separate you from your friends. Kind of like that sleepover you had with all the Plan Bri people where you all unfollowed Grace. And the one thing I might be on Bri's side about if it turns out that it's true is we remember that she posted this on her story, right? Saying that she was trying to bring back a version of Plan Bri, which triggered O'Malley to go on her story and post all these, as we recall, talking about how she had no idea that she was going to make that announcement and they were supposed to make the announcement together. But Bri on this podcast clarifies that yes, we were supposed to make this announcement together, and they tried to, but Grace won't respond to them, and they've been trying to coordinate some sort of a joint statement for a while. So due to Grace's lack of cooperation, she just decided to finally announce it herself. You know something's especially bad when Josh and Dave start chiming in on Grace's behalf with kind of her side of things. Because it's not wrong that this whole story was Bri being like, me, I'm the victim here, and they had to keep chiming in and being like, well, you have to understand this from her perspective. You need to start thinking about things from outside yourself. One of her main complaints is that Zach and Grace never liked each other. They never got along. It created a rift in everything, right? And that's what created a lot of the distance between her and Grace. And from the perspective that we're missing, what that sounds like to me is that Grace met Zach and right away she clocked him. Even Josh make it pretty clear that she saw the way he treated you and the way he treated everyone, and she was not having it. And as someone who has been there with a friend in a bad relationship, there's only so much that you can stand by someone with as you're trying and begging them to leave before you're exhausted, and you just have to put up your boundaries, and you have to walk away because it's harming you too. And at the end of the day, Bri, you chose your boyfriend over her. It sounds like she was really, really hurt by that, and she's still not over it.